17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate. They used to laugh at me.
Hello, 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 and thank you so much for tuning in to A Spoonful of Comfort. I am Claudine Jackson, your host, reminding you and me that we can give comfort, because Lord knows we need it in the society nowadays. But if you can't give comfort, at least don't give discomfort. And I know that you can give comfort because my son, who is handicapped, wants to comfort. And if he can give comfort, we can all give comfort. I am really pleased and honored to have a special guest on the show today. He has been on the show before, and he will be on the show again. I am very pleased and honored to have Jesse Peck, who is the bass singer of the Spinners.
Well, thank you very much, Claudine. It's so good to be back. You know I love coming on the show, so I'm happy.
And we love having you on the show. Now, Jesse Peck stepped into Purvis's place in the Spinners. Now, after Purvis passed away, there were many bass singers vying for that spot.
Oh, yes, there were.
Some even before Purvis was buried. Yeah, but the Spinners waited until they got just the right person. I think it took them 6 months after Purvis passed to get give Jesse the position. So, Jesse, how is being with the Spinners for you?
It's a dream. It's being in a dream that you never wake from. It's wonderful. 12 years in, still enjoying the travel, still enjoying all the people that we meet, all the wonderful people. The Spinner fans are the greatest fans in the world. Not to mention what it's all about: going on stage and performing those classic tunes, and making everyone happy, taking them back down memory lane. It's a wonderful experience. It's still. I wish we can get a little more sleep, but it's going to cost you something. But we have great camaraderie on the road. My brothers are there with me.
And you keep us apprised on Facebook of what's going on.
Yeah.
But I want to personally say thank you. Thank you to you and to all of the Spinners for keeping the music alive.
Wow.
That's the important part, keeping that kind of music alive. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I think at this point that I'm coming to realize it's the music that's keeping us alive.
All right.
And I don't just mean living, but what's the sense of being alive if you're not going to live this life? And the music gives us that.
Thank you.
It gives us that.
And music is the great equalizer all over the world.
Indeed.
I may have told you this story before about being on the cruise, and everybody out there, they put on the electric slide, and we were all out there dancing, dance floor full of us. And after the song was over, I'm trying to talk to people, and nobody understood my language. We didn't speak the same language until it came to the music.
But you had fun on that dance floor.
Had fun on that dance floor, and we were speaking the same language.
That's the
I
universal
said, this
language.
lets me know the importance of music.
Indeed, indeed.
So would you... Jesse is going to be my host for my new book signing. I've talked about The Butterfly, my new book of poems that will be released by the end of this month, and I'm having a book signing. So, Jesse, would you tell them about the book signing?
Why, yes, of course. We'd like to invite you to please join us for the meet and greet to celebrate the release of The Butterfly. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's the new book of poems by Miss Claudine Jackson, hosted by yours truly. Hi, I'm Jesse Peck of the legendary Spinners. It will be at the Northwest Activity Center. It's a place we all know and love. It's at Myers at Curtis. It's Sunday, March 29th. and Sunday, April 26th. Why are we having 2 days?
Because it's so nice, we've got to do it twice.
All
but
right.
what I'm hoping is that the people will like the poems enough to want to come back and read the poems themselves.
Awesome.
I'm looking for people to help me read this book.
Awesome. Well, I may step in and read a few.
I'm expecting.
I would be honored.
I'm expecting.
All right,
you
sounds
to read
good.
a few.
Well, the
Yes.
doors open at 3. It's from 3 o'clock until 6 p.m. Admission, that's all. You sure you want to tell them that? It's kind of low, but okay. You wrote it. So admission's only $20 for this event, and it's payable at the door. No pressure there, but do come on out and support this fantastic event. Admission includes your sign book. It includes wine. It includes refreshments and gifts.
Yes.
So, again, that's super. I'd definitely attend that 2 times if I could. It's going to be nice. And it's all to benefit the Purvis Jackson Jr. Autism Foundation. So,
And I want to say thank you to the people who have donated to the Purvis Jackson Jr. Autism Foundation. Without donations from kind people with
Yes.
a kind heart, we would not be able to help handicapped children. And just to refresh your memory, in case you haven't been watching this show, Purvis Jackson Jr. is 44 years old. He's handicapped by autism. He cannot read or write or talk or live independently. And I thought that I would just collapse, and I did collapse, but his father, Purvis Sr., was determined that we do something to help other children with handicaps. So that's how the Purvis Jackson Autism Foundation began, and it's still going on. And thank you for helping us, for your support.
oh, it's my pleasure. It's you were thanking me earlier. You keep thanking me for things.
And I will continue to thank you.
And I keep telling
because
you-
I'm very thankful.
And I'll keep saying to you, to whom much is given, much is required.
And,
So,
and I agree. I agree. So tell us a little bit about you, Jesse. We know that you're the bass singer of the Spinners, so tell us a little bit about your history. Were you born and raised in Detroit?
really, all of that?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Well, I was born.
What is safe for you to share with us? I know there are.
Well, it's all safe. I got to save something for the movie. You know, but
Oh,
No,
okay.
I was born in Queens, New York, Jamaica Queens Hospital, in 1968, December 17th, 1968. My father moved to Detroit when I was still a baby. So my mother, father, and I moved here. He started working at Ford Motor Company. My dad went into Ford Motor Company as a janitor. He went in with a mop. And by the time he passed away, he was the quality liaison rep for Ford Motor
Wow.
Company. He would fly on
Wow.
planes and, and go
Wow.
places and represent Ford. I was always proud of my father, and he was always proud of me.
At what point did you start singing?
Let's see. I was I think I was 8 or 9 years old. I was in the 3rd grade. First time I sang. I sang at a talent show in school, at Coolidge Elementary School. I sang It's You That I Need. My voice was a lot higher back then, as you can imagine. This didn't happen until the 6th grade, at the age of 12. That's when the voice dropped.
Well, that's something that you and Purvis have in common because his voice was low, and he said the students always teased him and called him Froggy because of his
Wow.
voice. And one day the choir director at the school said, well, I need a bass singer in the choir, and you have the perfect voice. So he started singing in school also.
How about that?
And as a retired teacher, that makes me happy to know that something that started in the school, and look what it has blossomed into.
That is awesome. That is truly amazing. And for me, it was I was embarrassed by it. I thought it
So
was a bad
Purvis,
thing. Yeah.
because they called him Froggy.
Yeah, you're in the 6th grade and teacher's taking attendance and she said, Jesse Peck, and you go, here. Man, stand up. I had to confirm my information. I had a friend in 6th grade. I called her house after school and sounding like this. And the guy, I can't remember the girl's name because I don't want to expose her. But anyway, I called the house. Dad answers the phone and I says, hello. And I got manners. I was raised properly. I said, hello, may I speak to Tanya, please? And he said, who is this? Sorry, Jesse, sir. How old are you? I'm 12, sir. You ain't no doggone 12. Don't call my dog. No. So I thought I was cursed, I thought it was a bad thing. But it was after a while I learned that it was a blessing. I learned how to use it. I got in the drama class. I started doing the PA announcements. Good morning, comments. Today in the lunchroom we're having meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and gravy, kind of thing. You realize that it's a blessing.
When it's in you, it's in you.
Yeah, and I could
it
hit
has
those low notes when my dad was harmonizing with his buddies back in the day. I can do the dear when you smiled at me.
Oh.
I heard a
Now, that was one of
melody.
Purvis's favorite
Oh,
songs,
yeah.
too.
You know what? I auditioned with that. Okay, I'm not going to tell you that whole story, but I auditioned with that song. I had I'd done my thing for Henry, and I could tell he was still on the fence. And I heard Eminem. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go and give him one chance. You know. And I said, Henry, I said, you know Zing from the Tramps? He said, yeah. And I just burst in the song. I just started singing that, and I could tell that impressed him.
That impressed him.
And I didn't know why till years later, but he said, you know what, you sounded just like Purvis when he would sing that song in the dressing room before we went on stage. I thought that was so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one thing about Jesse is he's so fit in with the Spinners as if he had been with the Spinners for years. The first year after Purvis passed, when I was still sad, for Mother's Day, the Spinners invited me to Tortola in the Virgin Islands.
We had a
where
ball.
They were performing,
Oh, it was
and they invited me as my Mother's Day gift.
Yes.
And the day after I got there, I get this phone call in the morning from Mr. Peck saying, good morning, Miss Jackson. We're having breakfast. We're fixing breakfast in my apartment because we had whole apartments there. I'm inviting you down to breakfast. And I said, if that is not a Purvis thing to do.
Wow.
And I've never forgotten that. I always appreciated it because it lifted some of the distress about Mother's Day and Purvis gone and all of that. So I've never forgotten that. I haven't forgotten the breakfast.
Well,
it was wonderful.
Thank you, and I'm glad you all enjoy it. I love to cook.
Yes.
I love to cook. So.
That's another Spinner attribute.
Yeah.
So tell us, what have the Spinners been doing?
We've been keeping pretty busy. We just got back from a short, we'll call it, 3-leg tour. We were in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, wrapped up at Greensburg. We started out in Baltimore. All fantastic shows. You have to go to our page, The Mighty Spinners or Mighty Love for the Spinners, and see some of the pictures that are already popping up from that show. We have a little kid, we talk about the generations of Spinner fans, and will the Spinners music mean anything to the young kids today? And you have to see one kid, and the children always enjoy the show, for the record, but there's a young man who got on stage. I don't know how he ended up there, but we brought him out center, and he was just dancing and enjoying himself. He had a great time. It was wonderful.
We say music is a great equalizer.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a short break, and our wonderful engineer is going to share our song Almost with you, of which Jesse is a part of.
How about that? All right.
Almost
thank you so much for sticking with me for a spoonful of comfort. And thank you to our engineer, Timmy Tim, for putting almost into the show for me because it was his idea. It wasn't my idea. And I'm thankful to Jesse because Jesse and the other two bass singers that you saw on there, Paris Delane and Trey Cruz, resurrected a song that had been buried for many years. I wrote it was in my first book of poems, Let There Be Light. I wrote the book maybe 30 years ago. Purvis sang it maybe 20 years ago. It had been packed away for years, and these three bass singers resurrected it and brought almost to life. So I am greatly thankful for that. Also.
Well, and the majority of that credit goes to Paris Delane, who produced the song, and Trey, who co-produced it and invited me.
Okay.
Which he better had.
That's right. You
But,
had to be a
I was
part of
invited,
it.
and
yes.
I was happy and of course honored to.
And
to be
Trey
a part of
Cruz
it,
is a
so.
young man that Purvis met when he was 13. And Trey wrote to the Spinners website, and I never answered anything on the website. But I answered a letter from him because he was only 13, and I was still teaching, and everything was. He had all his capitals in the right place and his punctuation, and I was grading it as a teacher. But I said, "Oh, this is the 13-year-old that really can communicate." So I responded to him, and the Spinners happened to be in a couple of months going to be at the State Fair. So he had told me to let him know when the Spinners would be in town.
Okay.
And they were at the State Fair, and he got to meet Purvis at the State Fair. And Purvis put in a lot of time with him.
Where I first saw the Spinners, the State Fair.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead,
yes.
that's another story.
Purvis put in a lot of time with Trey, and Trey would have questions about bass singers and things that I didn't know how to answer, and he would contact us over the internet, and Purvis would give him the answers. So he told me he wanted to do something to pay tribute to Purvis, and so I thank all of them for paying a tribute to Purvis.
Indeed, it's an honor.
So what's coming up with the Spinners? Now, Purvis never knew what was coming up. People would ask me what was coming up. Do you know what's coming up?
I know we're resting now for a couple of weeks, and
Okay.
When we head back out, we're going to Arkansas, I do believe, on the 29th of this month, and we'll be out for a series of shows following that. And I love when that happens. I don't want to do one show, come home and wait. I mean, we're doing show after show, city after city, and that's just how we like it. So that's going to be exciting. Also, coming up, we've got Disney. We do Disney
my
every
favorite
year.
place,
Yes. We perform at Disney each and every year, and I think we're there for 4 days. We're doing 3 shows a day.
And the Spinners have been performing at Disney since PJ was young, and
How about
PJ
that?
is 44.
How about that?
So
That's a whole lot of Mickey.
yeah.
You should come out with us one year. How long has it been since
I
you?
should come to Disney World because it's been a long time since I've been there. And PJ Purvis Jr., who is on the lower end of the autism spectrum, so he's always in his own kind of little world. But when we were at Disney World, I saw him come to life. I saw PJ look normal. He was glad to see Mickey Mouse. Mickey. He was glad to see Donald Duck.
Nice.
And the monorail, he called it Ride the Train. So he talked, and it really brought him to life. And I say,
Wow.
if Disney World has reached PJ,
Oh.
it has a deep reach.
That is beautiful.
So I would love to go back, and I'd also love to take PJ, although flying is so problematic now with someone such as my son that I don't know if
Well,
we'll...
for a little incentive, if you make it out with us to Disney, if there's a kitchen in my room, I'll make you breakfast. All right. I promise I'll make you breakfast.
That's worth coming along with everything
right.
that goes on at Disney
All
World.
right, it's on.
So, this is Black History Month, and I have been talking about some of the lyrics of songs from, I focused on Motown, but the lyrics that you were just talking about that you sang, yeah, when you auditioned for the Spinners. Could you share those with us again? Was it Zing?
Zing.
Yeah.
To share the lyrics
Yeah.
would be, dear, when you smiled at me,
Yes.
I heard a melody. It haunted me from the start. Something inside of me started a symphony, and zing went the strings of my heart.
Beautiful. I didn't expect it to be that sexy, but you probably got zing with the strings of somebody else's
It's
heart.
subject to your own
Zing with the strings
interpretation.
of-
You know how you feel it.
So, some of the lyrics I was talking about from Motown that may have gotten lost in the professionalism and the singing and the outfits. One of the my favorite lyrics was by Smokey Robinson, a couple of them by Smokey Robinson.
I'm sure.
And one of them was Tracks of My Tears. People say I'm the life of the party because I tell a joke or two, although I might be laughing loud and hearty, deep inside I'm blue. So take a good look at my face. You'll see my smile looks out of place. If you look closer, it's easy to trace the tracks of my tears. I thought that was beautiful because we've all been through it. I don't know if you've been through it.
I was touched just hearing you read that. You took me somewhere.
I've been smiling at a party and appearing to have such a good time,
Yeah.
and there were the tracks of my tears. Of course, we covered with makeup, but so
You know I went through that.
yeah. So the thing about lyrics is it can capture what you want to say. Now, music always had the ability to, if there was something in your heart that you wanted to say and you couldn't find the words, it was always a song.
That's right.
To say those words for you.
That's right.
So, and another song that is a sad song by Paul Reiser, who was a writer at Motown. I say a lot of the artists got attention, but some of the writers kind of didn't, because even I love the song, I did not know that Paul Reiser had written it.
Wow. Okay.
And it's What Becomes of the Brokenhearted. I walk this land of broken dreams. I have visions of many things, but happiness is just an illusion, filled with sadness and confusion. I walk through shadows, searching for light, cold and alone, no comfort in sight, hoping and praying for someone to care, always moving and going nowhere. Now, I'm searching, though I don't succeed, for someone's love, there's a growing need. All hope is lost, there's no place for pretending, all that's left is an unhappy ending. I know I've got to find some kind of peace of mind. I'll be searching every day. I know I've got to find a way. I'll be looking everywhere just to find someone to care. Now the words to that song are heartbreaking, but it was a million seller. So there were a lot of heartbroken people.
Yes, indeed.
And I say that songs can capture what's on your mind and what's in your heart better than you can. But then some of the music from today, when you do, and I don't want to talk bad about the music from today, as I talk bad about the music from today, but some of the music from today, when you hear it and you hear the words and you're sorry, you wish you hadn't heard the words to it. But the Spinners have a sad song, I'm Coming Home. Sitting in a railway station, my suitcase in my hand, I'm going back where I came from, I've had more than I can stand, watching men destroy my dreams, picked my brain till it was clean. When I was up, they knocked me down, I ain't gonna hang around, I'm coming home.
I'm coming home.
So there has been a lot of sadness in the world, and there's been a lot of people that have captured the sadness in the world. But one of the Spinner lyrics that we lived is I'll be around. Because Purvis and I, we had ups and downs during our marriage, and we were separated. And the words to I'll be around. Whenever you call me, I'll be there. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be around. And he was. During the time we were separated, he lived up to those words. And that's how we ended up getting back together. And some of the other words to the song are, a tiny spark will remain, and sparks turn into flame, and love can burn once again.
Yes.
And that's what Purvis was saying. I was saying, well, Purvis is delusional. But
Wrong again, like you said on the TV show when we did our song.
I was wrong again.
You gave him a rough way to go, boy. You meant not talking about jumping through hoops.
But one of the lessons in my life with Purvis is that he did break my heart. I told him, I know you'll break my heart. And he said, of course I won't. He did. But he also fixed what he broke.
There you go.
So if you have broken someone's heart, maybe it's not too late to atone and make it up to them. He used to always say, I want to fix what I broke. And I think, no, you can't do that. But he did. He was determined to make good what he had, how he had hurt me. And he did make good how he had hurt me.
Yeah.
And so there's always, you can always forgive. You know, forgiveness helps the forgiver as much as it helps the person being forgiven.
Yeah, you're taking that load off. Yeah, you got to lay that burden down.
And that's one of the things that I learned about forgiveness, because it was hard to forgive, but I did it, and I was blessed for it.
Yeah, and to not forgive someone, whatever they may have done to you, that's a control that they have over you.
Yes.
Whether they want that control or not. But as long as you harbor any negative feeling in your heart as a result of something that someone else has done to you, that's a control. You're relinquishing a certain amount of control to that person or to that thing. And when you forgive, when you release and let it go.
And when you forgive, you feel better.
Yes.
You feel better.
Yes.
So it's time for us to go. Jesse, didn't
Already.
that half hour go
so
fast?
Right.
Thank you so much for being my guest today. Thank you so much for keeping the music going. Thank you so much for being my host for my book signing.
Thank you for having me back on again, and I want to invite everyone again to join us for the meet and greet, The Butterfly, in celebration of The Butterfly, the new book of poems by Claudine Jackson. I'll be your host, and it'll be at Northwest Activity Center, Myers and Curtis, from 3 o'clock until 6 p.m. That's Sunday, March 29th. Come out and join us, please.
Thank you so much. Have a good week.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired, living